I think you do need a passion, and I think a lot of what's important in science is asking the right questions. I mean, a lot of your apprenticeship is all to do with saying, if I have a question, how do I get to the answer? And that's something that you work on your entire career, your strategies for doing that, and you get better at it. But I think the other thing you also have to work on is asking the right question, because very often that's when you've had that idea of, oh, I wonder what would happen if we do X. You know, that's the really creative bit that can, on a few occasions, lead to something wonderful. On other occasions, it leads to something banal and ordinary or a dead end.
So asking the right questions is almost more important than being good at answering them.
They're both important.
Okay.
Both important. But I think asking the right question is a really creative act. If you've got that incisive view that can really cut across a subject and really find your way to something important. The answering the question to some degree is a technical process that you can iterate through.
Or you can have other people help you along.
Or you can have other people help you along. Or I mean, sometimes answering the question involves acts of great creativity and insight, but
the question is often the big one. Now, I think that's an important insight. And then I think it's interesting to think about this balance between being very passionate about a subject, which sees you through the disappointments, with a kind of being able to take a step back from it and be almost detached. Those two are somewhat in conflict with each other. If you feel very passionate about your work and you submit it to a journal and they turn it down, whereas if you don't care about it, right, then you don't. So it's a balance you've got to hold. It's not so easy to hold in.
It's not so easy to hold, but it's absolutely vital. It even affects the way I think we write scientific papers. So that when you're doing the science, as you know, you're frequently passionate about it. You may be trying to look between two possible answers to a question, but boy, you hope it's this answer and not that answer. So because that's the one that agrees with your hunch, you just had a feeling that if you did this experiment, it would tell you such and such. So that's the answer you're really hoping for. So you've got a lot invested in this. But then when you get the answer, you then have to go into a different mode, which is being critical and saying, okay, well, this is what I was hoping for, but does it really stand up? And you end up writing the paper. I mean, this is partly a kind of traditional thing, but in scientific writing, at least in research papers, we're very detached and logical and analytical and rather free from that passion. Partly because we're then in objective mode. We're trying to then take another member of the scientific community who is our reader and say to them, here's the hypothesis, this is what we did, here are the results, these are the conclusions, look how well balanced it is. So you have to be in that different mode, that kind of unemotional, detached, logical mode.